Chapter 318, Jade Wave, Seagod, Infinite Azure, TL by Babelson. Chen Ringshu held her right arm straight and inclined, the sacred angel sword forming a straight line with her arm. Gaudy pure golden light radiated from every part of her angelic raiment, holding the sacred angel sword in her hand, and heavily slashing down. With her right shoulder as the center, she quickly cut out a giant circle, the sacred angel sword leaving behind a string of after images. The instant the circle was complete, a pure golden halo appeared around Chen Ringshu, and within this ring of light, pure golden light instantly surged, like a sun descended, appearing behind Chen Ringshu. Main. Chen Ringshu lifted the sword high. She wouldn't give Tang San the chance to breathe. The angelic domain that belonged to the god of angels was finally released. The sky instantly turned golden, only the sun-like pure golden disk behind Chen Ringshu remains distinct. Even the real sunlight couldn't enter. Between heaven and earth seemed filled with this golden light, even the distant sea showing a golden reflection. Tang San got a feeling as if he had again returned to the Seagod's inheritance ground. Suddenly, the scene in the sky changed. Illuminated by that hallowed golden light, Chen Ringshu instantly transformed. 1 became 2, 2 into 4. In the blink of an eye, countless Chen Ringshu separated in the sky, and each Chen Ringshu held a sacred angel sword high, a pure golden disc shining behind her back, and all the discs behind all the Chen Ringshu shone towards Tang San. Tang San felt as if his body suddenly weighed 30 million ton, and even with his god-level strength, he was pressed down until it was difficult to breathe. Sun, angel, 10,000 suns breaches heaven. The countless Chen Ringshu shouted with one voice, the clamor thundering in the air, the sound making the ground crack around Tang San. Within the range of that pure sunlight, even the land started to sink. Raising his head to look up, Tang San closed his eyes, slowly raising the Seagod trident to point to the sky. His expression seemed a bit serious. The wave and cloud pattern on the Seagod raiment seemed to come alive, especially the Seagod 8 wings on his back constantly flapped, one water blue halo rippling out from within Tang San after another, facing the sky that had already turned gold. Even the ocean within range seemed to be suppressed by the angelic domain in the sky. What could he do? Chen Ringshu basically didn't give him the chance to catch his breath and recover divine power. There was no gap to attack through, and most terrifying was that each attack she launched was more powerful than the last. The Seagod trident slowly rose, that rippling blue light slowly condensing around it. The rhombic gem on the Seagod trident suddenly shone, and with him as the center, those water blue ripples instantly spread out. The sky was golden, but in this instant, the earth turned blue. The seawater turned golden from the light in the sky also returned to normal. Main. Light blue mist quietly rose from the endless blue color, and the originally surging ocean suddenly calmed. A giant Seagod figure slowly appeared behind Tang San, and his 10 spirit rings all released dazzling splendor. At this moment, Tang San suddenly turned illusory, but his divine sense became exceptionally solid. Chen Ringshu had originally used her god of angels mystic justice's 10,000 suns breaching heaven to firmly target Tang San, but now she suddenly discovered that he suddenly seemed to drift erratically, even though he clearly stood there, but filled with an unreal feeling. Even within the range of 10,000 suns breaching heaven, the blue color Tang San emanated still ignited the entire ocean. Water blue energy rose from the surface of the sea, the purest water element energy within the ocean. It was like another ocean being stripped out from the sea, and driven by Tang San's divine sense, surpassing Chen Ringshu, it turned into an infinite overflowing giant wave that swept from the ocean. Jade Wave, Seagod, Infinite Azure. Tang San spat out in a low voice. His voice didn't seem to possess any offensive power, but that instant, his steady voice seemed to become the source of the ocean's exploding energy. 10,000 suns breaching heaven erupted at almost the same instant. The sun behind each Chen Ringshu turned into a giant pure golden shooting star that fell from the sky, straight at Tang San. It was also at this moment that the azure wave from the entire ocean also surged in. Fire met water, golden sun met Jade Wave, true sun fire faced true moon water, the god of angels faced the sea god, completely contrary energies, but of the same level, instantly clashed. The ultimate effect would be decided on each of their absolute strength. This attack, whether Tang San or Chen Ringshu, neither had any opportunity to play any tricks. They could only do their utmost to launch the power they released at the enemy. Pure gold and azure, the surging blast made the entire Douluo Continent tremble. The closest city was around 300 li distant, yet all the people there clearly saw this dazzling scene. The earth trembled as if the world was ending. The commoners in that city sank into extreme panic. The golden sun couldn't evaporate the entire Jade Wave, but boundless azure quietly swallowed the countless golden meteors. Chen Ringshu's expression was one of disbelief, filled with shock by that azure light sweeping high into the sky. She felt boundless warmth, and in the embrace of this warm and gentle azure wave, feelings of fatigue rose spontaneously, as if just falling asleep here would be the most perfect experience. Chen Ringshu bit the tip of her tongue. Pure golden light suddenly blossomed from the angelic raiment, just managing to resist that tired feeling, and instantly soaring up. Ultimately, she still cut through that azure bubble and shot into the sky like a ray of light. But her divine power and divine sense had still fallen substantially in that previous azure wave, but she didn't even notice until she had escaped from it. The sky was still golden, the golden angelic domain, and the ground was still blue, the blue sea god domain. Neither of the two god level powers was able to destroy the opponent's domain with their own, and so could only use it to amplify their divine abilities. Already suppressed into an absolute disadvantage, Tang San pulled against the tide and not only smashed Chen Ringshu's attack, but reversely also halved her angelic divine power. Even though she wasn't injured, Tang San doubtlessly held the absolute advantage in this clash. How come? Chen Ringshu didn't attack again, allowing the angelic 6 wings on her back to quickly recover her divine power through the angelic domain in the air. She didn't understand how her all-out mystic justice couldn't contend with Tang San when both were god-level powers. Could it be because he was backed by the ocean? Is it very strange? Tang San opened his eyes, looking smiling at Chen Ringshu in the air. He didn't attack again either. Chen Ringshu watched him coldly, pursing her lips and frantically circulating the angelic divine power within her, preparing to strike at any moment. Actually, you don't need to be puzzled. The reason the power I could use was able to defeat you really wasn't because I was near the sea. I'm a god, and just like you can draw on the power of the sun anytime, anywhere, I can also draw on the power of the ocean anytime and anywhere. The reason I could take the advantage from disadvantage with this attack is due to the absolute difference in strength between us. Even if you and I are both gods, your divine sense is inferior to mine, and drawing on the power of the outside world is done through divine sense. Your divine sense is less than mine, so you naturally can't draw as much power from the sun as I can from the sea. So how could you defeat me? Nonsense. We're both gods. Why would my divine sense be unequal to yours? Chen Ringshu glared angrily. You're getting carried away if you think you can influence my confidence. Chen Ringshu glared fiercely at Tang San as she spoke, catching every detail of what he said, determining whether he was already an arrow at the end of its flight. But she was disappointed. Her divine sense was unable to target Tang San, and the sea god's power Tang San emanated was unshakable, as stable as a boulder lodged in the ground. Tang San smiled faintly. Can't be helped if you don't believe it. True, we're both gods, but the way we became gods were completely different. I dare say the trials I experienced far surpassed yours, and in fact, my mental strength was much greater than yours to begin with. Both being gods, we can naturally embody our innate abilities. My mental strength was comparable to rank 99 peak Douluo even when I just became a title Douluo, let alone now. Chen Ringshu, you're not my opponent. Chen Ringshu didn't speak again. She forced herself not to listen to Tang San. Each word he spoke seemed to sway her confidence. Raising the sacred angelic sword once again, 10,000 rays of golden light fell from the sky, shining upon her. Golden light gradually turned into pure golden light, and the energy surrounding her in the sky instantly changed. The angelic raiment produced a layer of fleeting golden light, and she issued a long cry, turning and lunging at Tang San with the sacred angelic sword. Tang San didn't wait for her. The 8 wings on his back flapping, he appeared in midair, pointing the sea god trident forward, straight at the charging Chen Ringshu. The two flashed past each other, directly changing positions, a crisp explosive sound drifting in the air. Tang San swayed in midair, using the sea god 8 wings to catch his balance. With her sword strike successful, Chen Ringshu hardly paused, both hands gripping the sacred angelic sword hilt, and turning in a gorgeous midair arc. She shot straight for Tang San with the sword wearing a series of golden rings of light. Large-scale area attacks couldn't deal with Tang San, so Chen Ringshu could only blame the ocean being too close and decided to settle the battle with close combat. Suddenly, a blue light shot from Tang San's hand, his magnetic voice echoing in Chen Ringshu's ears. Guanyin tears. Two simple words, but they instantly turned Chen Rinchu's sword form messy. The originally attacking golden rings of light instantly contracted, and she simultaneously spun and changed direction, turning from a head-on charge to flying parallel to the ground. Her delicate face also showed alarm. Guanyin tears had left too deep of an impression on her. Back when Tang San was still only a title Douluo, he had destroyed her heart with just this attack. Again, hearing the words Guanyin tears at this moment obviously upset her, and even though she now wore the angelic raiment, as Tang San had become the Seagod, wearing a raiment couldn't give her any feeling of safety. Seeing Chen Rinchu's panicked appearance, Tang San couldn't hold back a faint smile. The blue light he shot out also quietly shattered in the air, and with a swing of the Seagod trident, one watery blue halo after another rippled out, the form for unfixed storm, without any imminent threat. When Chen Rinchu was close to the ground, she just saw that speck of blue light break apart. She first looked distracted, then immediately reacted. You tricked me. Tang San smiled slightly. There can never be too much deception in war. Are you that afraid of Guanyin tears? Since that's the case, how can you defeat me? He didn't press the attack. Tang San had Tang San's thinking. He wasn't ready to kill Chen Rinchu in today's battle. Just like he said, Chen Rinchu had once given him the chance to survive, and he had to repay this favor. From the start of the battle, for most of the time he had been passive, regardless of Chen Rinchu's strength, instead painstakingly constructing these circumstances. He couldn't kill Chen Rinchu today, but he still had to grasp the abilities of the God of Angels as much as possible, and next time they met he definitely wouldn't give her any chances. Even though Chen Rinchu had found a lot of weak points through her reflection on past battles, she was still behind Tang San in situational awareness and intelligence. Just like Tang San said, even though both possessed divinity, their divine sense wasn't on the same level. Being discouraged was extremely dreadful for a power in battle, especially God-level powers. Such a feeling was now rising in Chen Rinchu's heart. Facing Tang San, who was as deep as the ocean, she felt as if no matter how she tried, she was still unable to defeat him. Chen Rinchu quietly watched Tang San without attacking again, her eyes flickering, the sacred angelic sword in her hand swaying slightly. She knew that even if she kept fighting today, she stood no chance of defeating him. Would she never be able to defeat him? Once he had familiarized himself with the abilities of the Seagod and they fought again, she might stand even less of a chance. Tang San seemed to understand Chen Rinchu's heart. Leave this world of turmoil. What's so bad about living peacefully? As long as you give up the spirit empire, I won't cause you any trouble. One day, when we meet in the divine world, without mortal entanglements, we might even be friends. Suddenly, Chen Rinchu smiled, slowly shaking her head. Tang San watched astonished. Her previous disappointment in her eyes had completely vanished. The sacred angelic sword flashed with light, withdrawn into her body. Looking at Tang San, Chen Rinchu said, Tang San, you really are very strong, worthy of being the man I chose. You might also say you are the only man in my lifetime to move my heart. Starting now, I won't escape again. I will face everything between us squarely, even if I don't want to admit it. From the battle just now I can tell my divine sense really isn't equal to yours, and since I can't kill you even when you're still unfamiliar with the Seagod's abilities, I might be even less of an opponent once you are. But don't forget, we're both gods, equal level gods. My strength isn't equal to yours, but that doesn't mean I can't drag you with me to death. My grandfather died, I no longer have any family, and what use is the Spirit Empire's authority? I have no cares. Today's battle ends here, but remember, the next time we meet again, I will definitely pull you with me to another world. Didn't you say we could become friends there? Then fine, I'll help you out. Goodbye for now, my lover. Her words had just fallen when Chen Rinchu suddenly folded back her wings, and as Tang San watched dumbstruck, in the blink of an eye she had disappeared beyond the horizon like a golden shooting star. The angelic domain in the sky also slowly dissipating as she left. Grasping the Seagod trident, Tang San's expression gradually turned serious. Chen Rinchu wasn't scary, and neither did he care about the God of Angels. But a God-level expert prepared to give her life to kill him was still a mortal threat. Chen Rinchu was right. She might not be Tang San's opponent, but if she gave her life to fight him, the end result might be difficult to predict. The explosive power of a god that gave no heed to her life could absolutely be described as terrifying. Even if Tang San was stronger than Chen Rinchu, it was just by a fine line. A wry smile appeared at the corners of Tang San's lips, and he brushed the wishful 100 treasures purse with his left hand to let Xiaowu out. Just by holding his lover, Tang San's surging emotions calmed a bit. Sighing deeply, Tang San said, I didn't expect the pressure I gave her would actually let her sever her heart's devil, and also amend her weakness towards me. When I meet her again, she might be difficult to deal with. I thought I could sow a seed of defeat in her heart, and when we met later, it would grow into a mindset of being unable to win. But she severed her heart's devil with the words dying together. She has no regrets, but I do. I don't want to leave my parents. Don't want to leave you or our friends. I can't reach her level of being fearless of death. I'm afraid she might have leveled the advantage I once had. Xiaowu leaned softly against Tang San's shoulder. Don't overthink it. There will be a way. She should be heading to the front line between the Spirit Empire and Heaven Do Empire. This time we don't just return with you a Seagod, but also with us 6 at the title Douluo level, substantially raising the Heaven Do Empire's strength. Of course you don't need to stake your life against Chen Rinchu. Even if she does and you can't win, don't tell me you can't stall her. As long as we defeat the Spirit Empire, there will be some way to deal with her. Willingness to die rises easily, but it's not that easy to always maintain that state of mind. Tang San looked a bit astonished at Xiaowu in his arms. I never thought you'd see so much clearer than me. You're right. I definitely won't stake my life against her. I just need to keep her from influencing the war. My wife, it seems you're smarter than me. Come here, let Jade kiss you. Xiaowu completely obliterated Tang San's concerns, and after beating back a god with god-level power for the first time, he was naturally in a good mood. Xiaowu burst into giggles, quickly hiding her head in Tang San's arms. We're not formally married yet. Let's hurry back. I wonder if everyone's absorbed the spirit rings. This is their last spirit ring, so they'll definitely do their best. We can't let any dangers appear. When Xiaowu mentioned their friends, Tang San also couldn't keep being affectionate with her. Nodding, he unfolded the 8 wings on his back, and they turned into a ray of dull blue light, heading the opposite direction of Chen Rinchu, straight towards Seagod Island. Chen Rinchu left, and just as Xiaowu said, she definitely headed to the main battlefield. He also couldn't delay here for too long, just in case she used her god-level power to harm his family over there. It would be too late for regrets. Golden blue light fell from the sky, and Tang San returned to the Seagod mountain with Xiaowu. The 7 Seagod sacred pillar guardian Douluo quietly sat there cross-legged, seeing Tang San and Xiaowu return. They hastily saluted. Tang San calmly waved his hand. There's no need to bow, seniors. Didn't I say that as long as there are no outsiders present, you can just call me by name? How are they? Sea Dragon Douluo said, still absorbing spirit rings, and seemed to have broken through the limits. Their willpower is much stronger than ours back in those days. Headed by Daimobai, Oscar, Ningrongrong, Ma Hongjin, and Zhu Zulking, none of the 5 had yet completed their spirit ring absorption, but each one was surrounded by a faint pink haze, not any energy, but rather the effect of blood emanating from their pores and fusing with the energy around them. It was also no wonder they would do their all to break their limits. Seeing Tang San become god was obviously stimulating to them. The 7 of them were as close as family, and they of course didn't want to fall too far behind. Catching up to Tang San's pace was impossible, so their only thought was to do their utmost to raise their strength, especially since god bestowed spirit rings were hard to come by. With this chance, and since they attacked the absorption of their last spirit ring, this was an exceptional chance to get a 100,000-year spirit ring. How could they not go all out? The Shrek 7 devils had all at least experienced the black level 5 Seagod trials, and the strength of their resolve far exceeded that of ordinary spirit masters. Actually, any one of them would be a superlative spirit master power placed anywhere on the Douluo Continent, but as long as the freak Tang San walked ahead of them, they didn't feel like they were particularly strong. Right now, all their attention focused on fusing the spirit rings. They would never give up without the best possible results. Xiaowu struggled free of Tang San's embrace, smiling slightly. I'll start too. Tang San nodded to her. Work hard. With him here, there was naturally no worry for any mishaps happening to his friends. The strength of Xiaowu's physique was also second only to his, so absorbing spirit rings wouldn't be a problem. Moreover, Xiaowu was now going to absorb 2 spirit rings, jumping straight from spirit sage to the title Douluo level. Xiaowu sat down cross-legged next to Tang San, taking out a god-bestowed spirit ring. With her mental control, infusing it with spirit power, she began to absorb her 8th spirit ring. The god-bestowed spirit ring turned into a golden stream of light, coiling into her body. It would still take some time for his friends to absorb the spirit rings. Tang San had already withdrawn the Seagod raiment and trident into him, and if he now didn't release his divine power, he would seem like an ordinary person. With his hands behind his back, he looked out over the distant ocean, releasing his divine sense without end, recalling the previous battle with Chen. Even though the battle wasn't long, the whole course of events was still extremely intense. Tang San could snatch victory from the jaws of defeat through his divine sense being stronger than Chen, but he hadn't been able to show any advantage in terms of skill. In the battle, Tang San had discovered that all the spirit abilities he had before inheriting the Seagod divinity could still be used, and after being filled with the Seagod's power, these spirit abilities had all become his Seagod divine abilities. Further adding the inherited Seagod's abilities, he now possessed quite a large amount of divine abilities. He still had to familiarize himself with and practice the Seagod's abilities, and his own abilities had also evolved. Standing there quietly, one ability after another began to appear in Tang San's mind. Once at this level, he basically didn't need to practice the abilities in real life. He just had to simulate them through his divine sense to be able to use them in actual combat. This was also why Chen sat on the shore for so long, instead of actually practicing her skills. Gazing at the distant deep sea, one ability after another appeared in Tang San's consciousness. Tang San carefully familiarized himself with each one, and then combined them with the Seagod domain's effect in his previous battle with Chen. Even just standing here, he still slowly entered a trance. Of course, he always left a portion of divine sense in his surroundings, paying attention to the circumstances of his comrades. If anyone was in danger, he could immediately awaken from the trance. As time passed, the presence the 6 devils radiated grew stronger and stronger, practically each one wrapped up in mist. Such circumstances was extremely dangerous to spirit masters. Breaking through one's limits would immediately put them on the verge of collapse. If their bodies couldn't take it, or their resolve broke, then they would be completely destroyed by the energy of the god-bestowed spirit rings. The 7 Seagod sacred pillar guardian Douluo watched the Shrek 7 devils from the side, and they all saw the shock they felt in each other's expressions. These youths were really too astonishing. Tang San need not be mentioned, who was able to cultivate to rank 90 with just his own strength in his 20s. Even if luck was a part of it, his talent was irrefutable. Recalling how he passed the first 8 of the 9 Seagod trials, which one wasn't a life or death challenge. Moreover, even the majority of Xiao's peak level trial was shouldered by him. Besides this, Tang San had raised not even rank 70 strength past rank 80 in less than 5 years, leaving Seagod Island. But the guardian Douluo all knew that this was with risk to his life. One mistake and he might be destroyed. And at that time Seagod Douluo Sexy wouldn't have given him any assistance. But besides Tang San, the other 6 had also endured enormous pressure, and they had also borne it one by one. In their day, even if the 7 guardian Douluo had also taken black level 4 trials. At that time they had been instructed by Seagod Douluo Sexy. If they were in danger, she had helped them as much as she could. To them, Sexy wasn't just the high priest, she was also their teacher. Moreover, when taking the trials, they were much older than the Shrek 7 devils were now. These youths, relying on their own strength, their collective wisdom, broke through heavy obstacles to have their current achievements. Looking at them, they might not even be 30 years old. The future of the Seagod continent belonged to them. Heavens knew how many god level powers might appear among them someday. With their current age, it was completely a possible achievement. Just then, always sitting there surveying the endless ocean, Tang San suddenly turned around. With a blur, he appeared in front of Oscar. The mist next to Oscar quietly rose, drawn above his head under by Tang San's divine sense. Within the mist, Oscar seemed a bit frightening. His skin was completely scarlet, and especially his face was on the verge of purple. His body trembled uncontrollably, as if about to collapse. Seeing Oscar's circumstances, the 7 guardian Douluo couldn't help being shocked. Their only thought was this youth betting his life? What he did was simply treating his life as a joke. Without a doubt, Oscar was the one of the Shrek 7 devils with the weakest body. Even though he could fight using the mirror image sausage, he was fundamentally still a support type spirit master. Equally a support type spirit master, Ning Rongrong was a bit stronger than him, relying on the evolved 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda, the world's #1 support type spirit. Ning Rongrong's physique was still better than Oscar's, and her 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda had characteristics that protected its master. And with the spirit's innate advantage, she was much safer than Oscar when absorbing spirit rings. Tang San immediately sensed Oscar on the verge of collapse, and appeared before him. Even though Oscar ordinarily was the one the most loved joking about, and even though his spirit incantations were completely vulgar, Tang San knew that Oscar was actually proud, just that he would never show it to his comrades. As a support type spirit master, and even a food type spirit master, to be able to never be left behind the others in terms of spirit power, Oscar had to put in double the effort of the others, and he would frequently keep cultivating when the others rested. Nobody knew what happened to him during the 5-year pact he made with Ning Rongrong. Oscar never talked about it himself, but Tang San could guess. In those 5 years Oscar might have crawled out from piles of corpses. Otherwise, he wouldn't have improved so much. He just didn't want to make Ning Rongrong worry, and never talked about his experiences. When everyone now absorbed their god-bestowed spirit rings, Oscar could completely complete the process after it reached the 50,000-year level. As a food-type spirit master, reaching title Douluo was a peak unprecedented in history. But clearly, judging by his near collapse, he was just like the others striving to reach the 100,000-year level. This resolve, this pride, perfectly displayed a man's ego. Tang San understood that Oscar was afraid he wouldn't match Ning Rongrong. He had to appear flawless to the 7 treasure glazed tile school and even all the world. He had to obtain a 100,000-year night spirit ring like the others. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.